Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hockey fans, are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Owygen. Brave the Wild is available on thesportstuff.com, iTunes, Stitcher, and Double Twist. A pleasure to be back on board once again today to talk about hockey here. Minnesota Wild go 1-1, but kind of went the opposite direction I predicted. Well, it is what it is. And coming off the All-Star break and all that, it's kind of that crappy All-Star game. Did you like the All-Star game? Did you? Yeah. God, that was so bad. Oh my God. Yeah, that was bad. And I felt bad for Dubnyk. And it looked kind of similar in the Calgary game where he was pretty much hung out to dry. See, the All-Star game, you're kind of facing a firing squad. But, that's the thing. You're facing a firing squad and all that. You're not going to see a whole lot of defense. But Jiminy Christmas, Central Division All-Stars. Did you even try? I mean, the other team, the Pacific Division, at least they were attempting to force a turnover, attempting to defend us. It seemed like Central Division players were just kind of skating around, were just kind of going through the motions, and Dubnyk was left out to dry. Oh boy. Along with Corey Crawford, of course. Dubnyk and Crawford. I don't mind seeing Crawford get hung out to dry, but Dubnyk, man, that sucked. And that's the scary part coming out of the All-Star break. It didn't help him going into the Calgary game. Everything kind of was the opposite. It was kind of weird. But then again, I didn't expect 5-2 over anybody. I thought these were going to be lower scoring games or 5-1 going the other direction. Weird. Everything was completely the opposite here. Let's just get to it. Tuesday, January the 31st, we wrap up the month of January wonderfully. 5-2 in Edmonton, Alberta. Now, I thought Dubnyk was going to start against Edmonton because they're the better team and you'd take your chances with Kuemper the following night. You went with Kuemper in Edmonton. I was like, this can't be good. Edmonton's playing really good, and they have all these stars, Connor McDavid especially, but all the other young players playing as well as they have been, and just in general, and Talbot's a good goalie, good solid goalie, and yet the Wild go out there and win 5-2, and Tyler Graovac with 2 goals. And the good part is these were real goals. They weren't just bouncing off his skate and going in. Luckily, no kicking motion in that St. Louis game a week ago. But these were legitimate goals by Tyler Graovac. Not bad at all. Beautiful, actually. Granlund, of course, continuing his point streak throughout these only 2 games to review. In this case, 4 games to preview. So kind of unbalanced in that case as well. But Graovac, Zucker, Parise getting in very close to the net on Talbot, making it 3-0. Zucker made it, getting his 15th goal at the very end of the first period. You could just see the frustration on Edmonton's faces over there. Last couple seconds of the first period, Zucker scoring. The Wild were the aggressors the whole night here, and it was beautiful to see. It's like you figure, let's beat this Edmonton team and take our chances in Calgary. And yeah, I don't know. They must have thought they were going to just beat Calgary, I guess, despite the recent history and really long-term history against Calgary has not been real good. I mean, the last time the Wild were really dominant against Calgary was like the first couple of years of their existence, and then things changed very dramatically after that when Jerome McGinley started taking over and all that. But Parise, a Parise-like goal, 9th of the year. That's his old number, of course. Getting close to the net, getting stopped by Talbot, then getting his own rebound and sliding that thing, actually lifting it, raising it over Talbot's pads because the first one didn't go in underneath. So he raised it over the pads and in there. Pominville, yet another assist. Very cool to see. That third line's been playing well. Haula, Pominville, Parise, very solid. You're going to be hearing a very dramatic change as well coming up after this Edmonton game with the frustrations of Bruce Boudreau with a guy named Charlie Coyle, who just he's lost it. I mean, he's and yes, he goes through streaks, confident streaks, and he's had a hurt ankle. God knows what else might be hurt. Who knows if his hand is blue? I mean, God only knows. I mean, there's always stuff like that can happen, but usually you'd hear something about that. Adam Larson, the acquired defenseman from New Jersey. New Jersey. I don't know why I'm calling him Brooklyn. I'm getting it mixed up with the NBA here. The New Jersey Devils for Adam Hall getting his third goal of the year. That was frustrating. And it wasn't understandable. Both of these goals by Larson and Drysdale were very much understandable type of goals given up by Kuemper. He faced a firing squad all night. Now, the Wild were the aggressors early. Edmonton, later on in this game, really took over the puck possession, and they peppered Darcy Kuemper the rest of the way here. And Kuemper was excellent in this game. It was by far his best game of the year, I'd have to say, other than maybe some very early in the season when he was fairly solid before he started going way downhill. And stayed downhill forever, basically. It was either 3 or 4 goals allowed, if not 5, by Darcy Kuemper, pretty much from there on. But only 2 goals allowed in Edmonton, Alberta. Outstanding performance by Darcy Kuemper. Again, just shot after shot after shot, or as our buddy Bruce Boudreau would say, shot. 16 shots on goal in that second period. Edmonton dominating in the second period, but the Wild were taking the lead there. It actually was a 2-2. 2-2 second period, pardon me. The Wild maintaining their 2-goal lead that they're able to get in the first period. Luckily, again, like I said, Adam Larson and Drysdale there. Of course, Tyler Graovac. That second goal was really nice. Beautiful pass by Granlund. He's always ever capable of doing that. And Graovac with a nice little finish. Looked like Stewart almost touched it, but he didn't quite touch it. And he was able to make up for not getting good credit for that goal. Because, Graovac, nice play. Graovac deserved that second goal. And this is a guy who answered Boudreau's frustration. Boudreau scratched him one night, and then the next time around, it was like they were going to they wanted to send him down to Iowa. And this is a guy that said, okay, fine, I'm not going down to Iowa. And he scored 3 goals in the past 2 weeks. Incredible. Nice to see Tyler Graovac, but it's frustrating to see him not able to get assists of late. He made some nice passes in the Calgary game, and even in the Edmonton game. Unfortunately, nobody able to finish on those attempts. Stewart on one of them, a really nice pass from Graovac, but no goal in that one, unfortunately. Charlie Coyle, very frustrating again, just can't seem to hang on to the puck. Again, he just, his skating isn't the same. His stick handling is I don't know what's going on. He's not aggressive with his shot, and when he is aggressive, or when he does shoot the puck, it's inaccurate. It's very strange. Can't even get the puck on net. And like I said, a couple weeks ago against the Dallas Stars, he shot the puck and it missed by 5 feet, and it's not like he was that far away either. It was the kind of shot when you see, the shot when you saw Pominville getting close, kind of sliding towards the net and rifle his shot. Yeah, it was about from the same distance, and it missed by 5 feet to the right. Very strange. Chris Stewart with his 11th goal of the season, and it was another real nice one. Jason Zucker with a nice little feed there. Nice centering pass to Chris Stewart. Zucker and Granlund and Koivu always great at that, but Zucker and Granlund mostly with those centering passes. Koivu, a lot of times the beneficiary, but in this case, Chris Stewart, as the lines just kind of randomly shuffled during the course of the game. Stewart playing very strong and netting his 11th goal of the season. Your fourth line forward with 11 goals. That's extremely exciting at the end of the month of January. This guy might wind up with 20 goals at the end of the year. It's been absolutely great, Chris Stewart on that fourth line. It's really made a huge difference to this team. And just to let you know, I was on Dakota Sports Broadcasting. Dakota Broadcasting. I keep getting them mixed up. Dakota Broadcasting. A buddy of mine, Lucas Coyle, I know him from Timberwolves Explosion, but we also talked Wild on there. And they were asking me about the impact of the Eric Stahl signing and, of course, Chris Stewart. And it's like you're anchoring the top and bottom lines of the team, and it's made a dramatic difference to the whole club, also along with Bruce Boudreau. Obviously, that's the biggest of all. But again, you're able to move guys around when you bring in Eric Stahl. He's able to be your number one center, so you're able to bump Koivu down to number 2, and then the number 2 line, and then you're able to put Granlund on the wing, and look at him now, and of course Coyle on the wing as well, who was good for the longest time. He was one of the leading scorers on the team with Eric Stahl until of late, where again hockey is a game of streaks, and this one not so good. But the Wild looked great in this overall game. 5-2 victory to wrap up the month of January in Edmonton, Alberta. Extremely encouraging, very strong. A team coming out of the All-Star break, beating an Edmonton club that had been playing fantastic of late, really been picking it up after they kind of had the mid-season swoon a little bit there after a super strong start as they're looking to come back into the playoff picture once again, like they had been long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. They're back in the swing of things, literally in the Western Conference or Clarence Campbell Conference, whatever you want to call it, right? Oh, boy. But a fun performance. You figure, okay, great. Now, hopefully, we can go beat Calgary. I think the odds are pretty good. We got Dubnyk in that. There's got to be a little revenge factor with this Calgary team. In fact, we weren't playing very well when we played them in the past. Wednesday, February the 1st. Again, Pacific Division versus Central Division in the All-Star game. Like, really, guys? Really? Graovac had some chances in this game. And again, a guy who absolutely has stepped up the past couple of weeks, and good on him. And Coyle continuing to drop off, continuing to frustrate Boudreau, who he was lit up after the Edmonton game. Next thing you know, Charlie Coyle's on that fourth line with Chris Stewart and Tyler Graovac. You see Jordan Schrader bumped up all the way up to the top line on occasion. In fact, that's basically what's been happening. Coyle bumped up to the top line, or bumped down to the fourth, and Schrader up to the top line, pardon me. And it's unfortunate. Coyle had some centering opportunities as well. He was okay in those. He won half of his face-off, so at least he was able to do that. But overall, an extremely frustrating game. Again, 0 shots on goal. He's able to play his physical game. 3 hits. He led the team in hits, but overall cannot get the puck on net. And now he's just playing a physical game now that he's moved down to the fourth line for the time being. And the frustration continues to mount with that. The overall game, though, terrible turnovers. I mean, Mike Riley, a really bad turnover among many for the Wild in this game. It's amazing that only Christian Folin is the -1 in this game. He's the only, or -2 in the game, considering basically every line, every defensive pairing pretty much faced some very negative play in this one. Brian Elliott in net also. You have Dubnyk in there instead of Kuemper. And then you have Brian Elliott instead of Chad Johnson, who had been playing so well against the Wild. You figure this is a win for sure, and it goes completely the opposite direction again. But it's all, everything matters in hockey. Of course, goaltending is really important. It's paramount. But if you can't hang on to the puck, and if you're giving up odd man rushes time and time again with stupid turnovers, lackadaisical effort, and Mike Riley looking just like an idiot out there, quite frankly, not impressed with Mike Riley at all. Looking forward to Jonas Brodin coming back. And unfortunately, he won't be back for quite a while yet, at least a few weeks, maybe 2-3 more weeks at least. So this is why Mike Riley isn't in the NHL. I mean, this is why he wasn't in the NHL at the end of training camp and all. And of course, Christian Folin's dropped off a bit. Ever since that knee injury, he hasn't been the same, and that's extremely frustrating considering how strong he was. And that was why Mike Riley wasn't in the NHL. That's another reason, because Christian Folin was 10 times what Riley was defensively. Riley, again, I mean, you see a little bit of ability to step up and such, be an offensive defenseman, but my God, you're seeing almost no ability to keep up with anyone, and you're seeing him turn the puck over. Just stupid plays, poor skating even, and such, like overskating. Again, poor stick handling, and there were so many odd man rushes in this game. I can't blame Devan Dubnyk, and it's such a shame that he had to get 5 goals against in this game. It's a huge shame. It was all spread around except for Sean Monahan with 17 and 18, and at the end, Ferland's goal, which made it 5-1. You saw Bruce Boudreau look up at the screen with his mouth open, like the way my brother does when he's really pissed off. He was looking at the replay, and he couldn't believe what he's seeing. You could just tell he's just dropping F-bombs, extremely shocked, frustrated at what was going on, and that was in the Mike Riley turnover, among a couple others. Just an overall lousy game for Mike Riley. I'm not happy with him at all. I'm sure Boudreau isn't either. On the positive note, Jason Zucker's 16th goal of the year, and he has been extremely consistent, and Mikael Granlund has been extremely consistent. These two guys continue to wind up on the scoreboard, having something to do with some type of scoring, one way or the other, assists, goals. Zucker's been scoring goals. Granlund's been getting the assists like normal, I suppose, especially in Granlund's case. But this was a great play, and it gave you hope that the Wild were going to come back and get things going. Of course, after the Flames taking advantage of a power play midway through the first period, making it 2-0 after Alex Chiasson getting his 8th goal of the year. About 4 minutes prior to that, pretty early in the first period. It was kind of an indicator that this wasn't going to be an easy game at all. Again, with the way the Wild were giving up the puck and not getting back defensively quick enough, stuff like that. And man, but the Granlund play, it was a little 2-on-1. So Calgary gave up a 2-on-1. Yes, thank you very much. Granlund could have passed the puck earlier, but no, he hesitated, and waited for just the right time, and Zucker was able to bury it, and that was great. 16th goal of the season. Zucker scoring in multiple games in a row here once again. Absolutely great, and Zucker's been a consistent goal scorer for this club of late. Granlund always factoring into something, and that second line has been fantastic. It's a shame to not see Koivu on the scoreboard, because usually he is somehow, some way with the assists with that second line, the beautiful second line of the Wild, but not in this case. So overall, this game I don't have a whole lot to say other than, I mean, what the hell was this? Just very, 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 very sloppy. And Charlie Coyle is going to remain on the fourth line because after this game, the Wild call up, drum roll, Alex Tuch. That's right. Alex Tuch is now on the Minnesota Wild, and an awkward incident took place, or not an awkward incident, but an awkward thing happened when you wear certain colored jerseys for top line, bottom line, and all that, for the different lines you're on. I guess the top line you wear white jerseys, the bottom line you wear red. Charlie Coyle put on the white jersey, and Alex Tuch put on the red. And one of the assistant coaches said, "Oh, no, you switch that up. You guys switch that up. Yeah, Tuch, you're going to the top line." And it was a very awkward situation there between the two. Charlie Coyle looked kind of mad, frustrated. But, hey, man, come on. I was counting on you to score a goal against Calgary. Remember that beautiful highlight goal he had a couple of years ago against Calgary? And he scored against them last year, too. I figured Charlie Coyle would hopefully break out of his slump, and he didn't even come close. And he got sent down to that fourth line early in the Calgary game. And he's been there, and he's going to remain there for a while, at least for the time being, as the Wild test out Alex Tuch. Because, well, are we going to make a trade as we head towards the trade deadline? Or is Alex Tuch the acquisition? Do we just go from within? Maybe that's what the case will be, as Alex Tuch will get that opportunity at age 20, making his NHL debut, the first round pick in 2014. Welcome aboard, Alex Tuch. Cool. We'll talk about him some more in the second segment, as we always do, about prospects, because he stepped it up after a shoulder injury during the course of the season. He has stepped it up greatly. The Wild did want to acquire him earlier, did want to call him up anyway back in December, but then the shoulder injury happened, and that was put on delay, and they let him kind of get back into the swing of things, and he looks great now. And he's been doing fantastic down in Iowa, along with some others that are fairly important prospects for the Wild. So very, very, very exciting in that case to see more and more prospects playing better down in Iowa, and of course in the collegiate ranks as well. So there it is. The Mike Modano Award winner for this week will be Jason Zucker. Absolutely strong play, doing everything he can to keep the Wild in games, and of course finishing on some beautiful passes. I mean, it's one thing to make a beautiful pass, but you better finish on it. I mean, Graovac had so many chances earlier in the year and he wouldn't finish. Zucker has been a finisher, and that's fantastic. Granlund, obviously, honorable mention, as he was the winner last week. The James Shepard Memorial is Charlie Coyle, for so many reasons. Turning the puck over, bad skating, overskating, not getting the puck on net, inaccurate, everything. Just off. He's just been off. Just to sum him up in one word, he's just been off. Off. So that's it. Let's wrap things up. Only 2 games. Maybe I dragged that longer than I would have liked. Let's get to the 4 games to preview and talk some more about the prospects. Alex Tuch leading the way. We are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2, preview segment, and of course checking up with the prospects. You always love to do that. Hope you guys like that. I'm not sure a whole lot of other shows do that, so why not? Why not this one, right? Maybe that's why you listen partially. 4 games to preview. Let's hop right into it. Hope you like the bumper music there. Yeah, it's back again. It's been almost a year since I used that one, because I got all kinds of different bumper music to use for this show, like Mega Man and Blades of Steel. I went back with classic ice hockey. Gotta love that. But yeah, I mean, the others will return again too. That's what's fun about it. It's always changing. Saturday, it changes about as much as Boudreaux lines, except for the second line. Saturday, February the 4th, the Minnesota Wild head to Vancouver, British Columbia. Ruh-roh. Don't like how these have gone. Don't like how these have gone of late. This was a frustration. This was a frustration. Right before the Wild's winning streak began, the Wild had a regulation loss in Vancouver. What a POS game this was. 5-4 loss to the Canucks. Or you know what I mean. People like to use swear words for it. Maybe I shouldn't do that. It's inappropriate. It's not cool. 5-4. I mean, it was just another one. You know, just another game where you thought the Wild were going to beat an inferior club that hadn't been playing well. And the Wild were going to take advantage of we're going to take advantage of it, and it just did not go that well. Louis Eriksson, a factor. Pominville had 2 goals in the game. These were his last 2 goals before he finally got his 6th all this time later, way later here in January. Extremely frustrating. Vancouver was up 4-2. The Wild made a dramatic comeback. Zucker getting only his 3rd goal of the season. Just think about it. Zucker only had 3 goals at the end of November. Remember that? Wasn't that weird? Only 3 goals, but he'd been picking up a few assists at the time. Pominville again. See, it's like you're seeing a lot of history here. Eric Hall, a 4th goal, where he was scoring a little teeny bit, and then he went into a huge slump as well. He wasn't playing bad, he just wasn't scoring. And then Sven Barsky ended up getting his 3rd goal of the year to end things. Only about 2.5 minutes remaining. Huge frustration for the Wild. Oh, man. And Kuemper was in net, and Kuemper wasn't very good, and everyone was frustrated. Remember that? Well, Dubnyk will be in net this time, and hopefully the Wild will play a little better against this club. It would be greatly appreciated. We got to hope for that. Vancouver Canucks have been playing a bit better. They're only 1 game above 500, and that's not good at this stage. They're still kind of sort of in the mix, though. I mean, you know, it's like good on them, I suppose. They're kind of, sort of, yeah. I mean, they're in the mix. If Calgary's around the wild card, they're about 5 points behind Calgary. So the possibility exists and persists for that. That's the good news. The Wild also made a minor trade. Might as well mention Mark Hagel, the Bagel. Mark Hagel, yep. Traded to Ottawa for future considerations, and that's it, of course. Alex Stalock, also, got to mention this right now, contract extended for 2 years. 2-year contract extension for Alex Stalock, making things more interesting here. Alex Stalock, very possibly the backup goalie next season, as Darcy Kuemper unlikely to be back. The Wild probably going to either let him go or trade him. He is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. We'll see what happens with that. Alex Tuch, of course, again called up from the minor leagues. Nobody actually sent down, so you're going to see somebody like Schrader possibly scratched, which I like Schrader, damn it. I wouldn't scratch Schrader. Why punish Schrader? What did he do wrong? He hasn't been a huge factor in the scoring of late. He's not Chris Stewart or anything. I mean, scratching Chris Stewart would be like, yeah, that would be unthinkable. But it creates flexibility for the goalie situation, and of course it also allows the Wild to expose Alex Stalock to Vegas, which we're guessing they won't pick him up, but you never know. Maybe they'll pick him up to be the backup. That would be kind of a bummer. Then you got to scramble a little bit to get a new goalie. But I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. But then again, why would Vegas take Stalock if they can take somebody else, like a Scandella, maybe, or God forbid, like a Brodin? I would hate that, or a Zucker. Don't think Zucker's going to be available, but maybe he will be. Mike Riley will be available. So, I mean, they can only take one player, and I'm guessing it won't be Stalock. And yeah, so now the Wild can officially protect Devin Dubnyk, and in that case, you'd expose Stalock to Vegas, who again, I'm guessing will not be picked up in that situation. So, good news in that front, I suppose. So Alex Stalock, again, who's been playing great in Iowa. The Vancouver Canucks, back to that. Wanted to get to those transactions before I got too crazy. Ryan Miller, who in the past had not played well against the Wild, has been playing so much better, and he played fairly kind of semi-decent during the course of the season. 2.53 on the year. Jacob Markstrom, who actually was in net against the Wild last time around, very similar statistics. In fact, they're almost identical. The only major difference is Ryan Miller with 2 shutouts, Markstrom with Dilchy so far on the year. Marcus Granlund, recognize that name. Starting to break through a little bit, a little more of a goal scorer than his slightly older brother, Mikhail Granlund. Marcus Granlund, who was a member of the Flames for so long, now he's staying in that former Northwest Division, now called the Pacific, as obviously the Central. And yeah, teams got split up and moved to these new divisions, and that's what took place there. Man, Barsky is continuing to be one of the leading scorers for that club. There's still not much of a scoring team, to be quite honest. Henrik Sandin with 32 points. His twin brother, we all know the Sandin brothers, Daniel Sandin. These guys are getting up there in years. The numbers are not the same. Only 27 points on the year, 11 goals for each of the brothers. Just Henrik. Yeah, Sandin. Henrik with more assists, but his plus minus is worse. Bo Horvat leading the club overall with only 14 goals. But Marcus Granlund, a goal scorer, 12 goals, 8 assists on the season. Not as good as the older brother, Mikhail, and it's good to see Mikhail pick it up. Alexandre Burrows, who's been a thorn in the Wild's side for years with Vancouver and others. The Wild should be able to beat this club. They should. It's just one of those. They should be able to beat the club, just like the Wild should have beaten the Calgary Flames. They should beat this team, damn it, and that's tonight, Saturday night. Beat them, please. You'll see Alex Tuch get his NHL debut with Eric Stahl and Nino Niederreiter. Yes, get her done. Get her done. Come on, Alex Tuch. And Eric Stahl, come out of that damn slump too, because again, Charlie Coyle, as voiced by Bruce Boudreau, not the only guy slumping with this club right now. Stahl has not been scoring anymore. So again, it's a game of streaks, and I've said it a quadrillion times. Last 5 games for Vancouver, they've beaten Florida and beaten Colorado in a couple of low-scoring performances. They got shut out by Arizona. Wow. They got beat by Chicago 4-2, no surprise, and they got beat pretty convincingly at home by the San Jose Sharks, the Sharks. And I will be on a Sharks podcast on February the 15th, more than likely. We'll talk about that next show. That's coming up. I'll be on their show. San Jose Sharks, a podcast over there. So thank you again, guys, for calling me. I got to figure out things a little bit. I don't know a whole lot about Google Hangouts because there's just so many things out there, so many different ways to do audio recording and conversation, all that. But whatever, let's get back to it. Wild will beat the Canucks tonight. They better. After a performance 5-1 to the Calgary Flames, you better beat the Canucks. You better beat the Cun Bleeps tonight, please. And if they don't, I'm going to be pissed off. And I think Coach Woodrow will be very pissed off. You're going to have to beat the Canucks because the schedule's getting tough here. It's starting to get tough again. Big surprise. Let's go. Beat the Canucks. The Wild will win with Devin Dubnyk in that 3-2 performance. Not a high-scoring game, but a solid game. Most likely guy to score is Alex Tuch. Alex Tuch will score his first career goal against the Vancouver Canucks in his first game. It's happened so many times. You saw it with Marian Gaborik. You saw that with Yul Eriksson Ek. And you've seen it with others out there. You've seen it with no-name guys, too, scoring real early. Even though they don't have much of a career. Sometimes it's real good guys. But I think Alex Tuch is going to score tonight against Vancouver. 3-2 victory. Devin Dubnyk is going to put the clamps down. You're going to see better, more solid play from the Wild. But you're not going to see like 5-2. You're going to see 3-2 victory. Regulation win for the Wild against Vancouver. 2 points. And for us, 0 for them. Tuesday, February the 7th, the Minnesota Wild head to Winnipeg. Manitoba. Rutrow. Home of the Manitoba Moose. The Manitoba Moose. Remember them? You remember the Minnesota Moose? Yeah, Manitoba Moose. They're still around. Completely different logo. They went from IHL to AHL. You know all that. The IHL died and the teams merged into the AHL. All that nonsense. The Labatt Blue looking Winnipeg Jets logo. Oh, goody. Labatt Blue. I like the old logo. I always will. Screw you, Winnipeg ownership, for saying we're moving in a different direction. Well, good for you, you sons of biscuits. Winnipeg. Yep, solid team. Hellebuck. He must like Helly beers. Yep, because it's spelled the same way. Hellebuck. 3 shutouts on the season. Inconsistent. Michael Hutchinson, who's been strong in the past. Terrible so far this year. He was that strong backup goalie, and Pavlich kind of guys seen three games of action. And again, same thing. 3.2 goals against 3.2 from Hutchinson, from Hutch, as they like to say. He's had some good games against the Wild in the past. I wouldn't be surprised to see either goalie, but Connor Hellebuck has been better. Definitely the best of the bunch. 3 shutouts on the season, just under 91% save percentage, and he's averaging 2.8 goals against. Not that good. They have scoring, and their defense is not good. The identity is different, completely different on this club than what it's been in the past. They were a low-scoring, physical type of team, which kind of Vancouver's kind of sort of becoming, despite the fact they scored 5 goals against Kuemper last time around. You got Patrick Lane, 43 points, 23 goals on the year. Mark Scheffel, with 25 goals on the year, 53 points, one of the leading scorers in the league for a team that's only 500 and very much out of the playoff mix right now. Dustin Byfuglien can drive you crazy. He's a tough son of a bitch. Former Chicago Blackhawks, Adam Lowry, similar thing on the defenseman side, the blue line. Those guys, very physical players. This is a physical team, but now they become a scoring team. Blake Wheeler, one of the best players on this club, scoring a frustrating goal against the Wild not too long ago. Well, last time these clubs played anyway. 45 points, 16 goals on the season for him. And you still got Ehlers as well, a guy who's been in trade rumors for the Wild in the past, but now I don't think the Wild will be making that move. As good as he's been, I don't know if the Wild will be able to at this point. 47 points in the year. These guys would be leading the Wild in scoring, which is kind of funny. But the balance drops off significantly after Dustin Byfuglien. A solid team, I think that should be better, but defensively, they're not good. The goaltending's not been good. I don't know. Luckily, the Wild have beaten this club in regulation twice this year. Last year, they really beat the crap out of us. That's when Wheeler beat us. It was last year, and the Wild were just heartbroken multiple times against this Jets club, especially when they were struggling. It's a 5-game series because it's a division rival. Winnipeg could still win this series, as they will host all 3 of the remaining games. The Wild beat them both 4-3 way back on October 15. On November 23rd, a nice, solid little 3-1 victory over Winnipeg Club, where Dubnyk was just a stud that whole night. He continued, and that was when he was really starting to show how great a season he's having. This won't be the easiest game, but it's very winnable. Winnipeg has won 3 games in a row against very good teams, and they barely lost to Anaheim, barely lost to San Jose. They beat Chicago in Chicago. They beat St. Louis in St. Louis, which is believable with head coach Mike Yeo. The Blues during the All-Star break, or right after, ended up deciding to move on from Ken Hitchcock and have now promoted Mike Yeo to head coach, a guy who can rescue the club during these times, but at the same deal, prepare yourselves for continued swoons during the season, St. Louis, because I think we got well affiliated with that. In fact, every freaking year, I almost dropped an F-bomb there, with him in charge, and of course a win in Dallas also by Winnipeg. So they're playing better, and they will head to Colorado today, and then we'll be playing the Wild on Tuesday. And they'll be hosting the Wild on Tuesday, by the way. Boy. Is this a trap game? Is it? It's kind of got the makings of it. I don't know. I mean, I like the Wild success against this club, but I don't know. It's got the makings of a trap game to me. Then the Wild have a huge homestand. Oh my God, that's a homestand. Both the Wild and the Wolves are going to have huge homestands around the same time here after this Winnipeg Jets game. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh my God. Oh boy. That's 4. Yeah, that's an 8-game homestand for the Wild after the Jets game. Good Lord, that's a time for you to take over the conference to just build that cushion. But they're all against good teams, all against playoff caliber teams, unless you consider Detroit. Unless you don't consider Detroit that, which I guess that's one maybe not. And the Wild better win that one. We'll be talking about that next week. Let's get on with the Jets. This reeks of a trap game. It really does. I think the Jets will win the game 3-2, something like that. It's going to be a I just have a sneaky feeling it's going to be something like that. I don't know. I mean, the more I come back, I think the Wild should beat this team, but I can't pick them to win every single game. I can't. And the success rate for the Wild over the Blackhawks lately has been so good. I'm going to pick the Jets to win 3-2. I think for some reason their freaking goalies are going to be ready to roll, and the physical play of this club will kind of return to what it's capable of doing. The Jets will win 3-2. Most likely guy to score for the Wild, it's going to be an Eric Haula, I think, in that one against the Jets. Or Nito Niederreiter. I'll go with Haula. We'll score against the Winnipeg Jets, but 3-2 victory for Winnipeg. It just reeks of a frustrating, kind of a quiet night for the Wild. Dubnyk will more than likely be in net, but no, he won't. Dubnyk will not be in net. This will be a Kuemper game, so let's go with 4-3. 4-3 loss for the Wild against the Winnipeg Jets, because there's no way Kuemper is going to be in net against the Blackhawks the following day. Darcy Kuemper in net against Winnipeg. I just feel a 4-3 loss there. Wild had to head back home for the 8-game homestand, starting off with Chicago Blackhawks Wednesday, February the 8th. We all know these guys. Yeah, I mean, do I need to do this anymore? Not really. They're not playing as great of late, but at the same time, they're still a good team. They had a 3-game losing streak in between. They were bookended with 2 wins against Vancouver and Arizona, but losing 5-2 to Tampa Bay, 5-3 to the Jets, Winnipeg Jets, of course, and 3-1 to San Jose. 3-1 to San Jose. But look at all the goals against by Crawford. Man. And Scott Darling along the way. Darling's actually got a little bit better numbers on the year, believe it or not. 12-5 on the year. Great win-loss record. Crawford a little down this year. But again, the Blackhawks still have a great record. Remember, they were the leading team in the conference where the Wild took over. Patrick Kane leading the team in scoring. 16 goals on the season. Certainly not the not going on the torrent he went last year. Absolutely crazy. And Jonathan Toews played by injury all season. Just kind of in and out of just frustrating injuries. He's missed 9 games on the year. 29 points for Toews and 44 so far. Duncan Keith, one of the best defensemen in the league. We all know he's got 31 assists on the season. Patrick Kane, 51 points so far. Panarin and Amnesov, just great acquisitions by this Blackhawks club that's kept them good along the way as other guys have gone. Great trades and such when you trade away Saad and you acquire guys like that along the way. Just that's the Blackhawks, and that's why they're able to keep things going. Very well-run organization, well-coached. We all know that. I'm not going to praise them too much because I want to beat them, and I can't stand them. But Scott Darling, don't be surprised to see him in net, believe it or not, even though Crawford's had the Wild's number over the years. But again, the Wild took advantage of it last time around. Pominville burying the game winner last time around against this club. Hoping for a victory here, and I'm going to pick a win because the Wild's success rate against this club has been fantastic. The Wild will continue to build a cushion in the Central Division. I'd say look to hopefully finally win this division again. It'll be nice. It's been a long time. Back when it was a different division, Northwest, way back in 2007 when the Wild claimed it last time around. I think the Wild will win the game. We're going to go with 3-2 again. 3-2. Lower scoring. It's not going to be super high. Patrick Kane will score against the Wild because he always does. Patrick Kane, most likely going to score against the Wild. 100% chance because he's scored in every single time the Wild play the Blackhawks. Somehow, some way, there'll be a time where he'll be one-on-one with Dubnyk and he'll put it in because that's Patrick Kane. It's going to happen. We don't even need to think about it. And then one of the other two, Amosov or Panarin, will add the other goal. Or Patrick will get both of them like he did last time. Old Patrick, when he was struggling with goal scoring, he was kind of like Zucker in a way. Kind of like Zucker-type numbers, and now he's taking off again. As good as Zucker has been, still, he's not a dominant Patrick Kane-type player, so let's just be honest. Most likely guy for the Wild to score, we'll go with Zach. Zach Parise will be the most likely guy to score for the Wild against the Chicago Blackhawks. A 3-2 win, a nice home victory for the Wild, maybe even 4-3, something like that. But I think the Wild will pull off the victory against, in my opinion, I do believe Scott Darling will be in net. That's just my belief. He's been playing better than Crawford. And maybe they'll want to go in a different direction. We'll see. Because Crawford's been getting beat by the Wild in the regular season. Postseason is another story. February 10th, happy birthday. Again, my mom was February the 5th. Will be February the 5th. And then Friday, February the 10th. Happy birthday to my dad and my twin nephews, Alex and Max. Wow. It says, 3 birthdays on the same day. Whew. And 4 birthdays in the same week. That's insane. Steven Stamkos, the Wild will host the Tampa Bay Lightning Friday, Feb the 10th, like I mentioned. Steven Stamkos out with injured reserve, torn meniscus, not good. Callahan has been on injured reserve with a lower body injury. Bourneval, upper body injury situation with him. And Bishop has not been very good. He's not been preaching very well. Okay, I'm sorry. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, their power play is 7th in the league, one of the best in the league. Penalty kill, not so good. Everything else, kind of just mediocrity for this club. Andrei Vasilevsky, who was good in the Stanley Cup Finals not too long ago, very good in the conference finals. Actually, he was very good in the conference finals last year when they had to have him in there against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Very solid. He's been the better goalie. Again, just like how you know the name Ben Bishop, but Andrei Vasilevsky, I keep getting it wrong because I remember hearing it many, many times. Kucherov's leading the club in scoring. Nikita Kucherov, who's been a solid player, he's been kind of taking the reins with Steven Stamkos' injury situation. Frustrating for Tampa Bay. They've had a down year. Stamkos has only played 17 games on the season. He's been out. Stamkos has been out since November the 16th. And that's one of the reasons, many reasons, they've been struggling. A lot of people had this club winning, not only getting to the finals, but winning it all this year, including myself, against the Dallas Stars. They had them playing the Stars and beating them in the finals. Oh, man. I don't think it's going to happen. They still have a lot of talent. Tyler Johnson, with connections here. 32 points on the season. He's been strong. Filipula, I love that name. Vitaly Filipula, 32 points on the season. Hedman, 41. Again, another team. They're kind of like Vancouver in a way, where there's a little bit on top, and then it drops off. In fact, they're probably more like Winnipeg in that sense, but more of a skilled team, I'd say, than Winnipeg's physicality, without a doubt. Honestly, Paquette is the guy leading in hits with 118, much less than several of the players on Winnipeg. The Wild should win this game. The goaltending has been okay. The scoring has been okay. The Wild are the better team. Dubnyk will be in net, which better be a good thing. Hopefully Dubnyk isn't going to go in a slump. That's my fear with possibly the Winnipeg game along the way. But then again, no, that's going to be Kuemper because it's a back-to-back, unless Alex Stalock is called up. But Kuemper has earned his right to be on the club after his big, nice, strong play against Edmonton. Hopefully he'll continue that against Winnipeg. I'm not counting on it at the moment, but we'll see. Wild should win the Tampa Bay Lightning game, though. Most likely got to score against them. Nino Niederreiter, I think. I just feel Nino Niederreiter against the Florida teams there. Got a good vibe on that one. I think the Wild win 4-2 against Tampa Bay. I think that'll be a very strong, solid, convincing victory for the Wild. You're going to see good puck possession. You're going to see nice play. You're going to see fun. It's going to be a fun little Friday night for the Wild on Feb the 10th. Minnesota wins 4-2 against the Tampa Bay Lightning, a club that's just not been that good of late. And they wrap up the season series March the 9th, the day after my brother's birthday. So it's kind of hanging around family members' birthdays there, which is kind of funny. But the Wild will beat a Tampa Bay team that's not been so good. And the Wild have had success against this club for quite a while. Their last 5 games have been terrible. They lost to Arizona. They beat Chicago, their Stanley Cup final opponents 2 years ago. They lose to Florida, lose to Boston, lose to Ottawa. They're not all bad teams or anything, of course. Yeah, I mean, you beat Chicago, the best of the bunch, and you lose to the other 4. And Ottawa, by the way, has been playing excellent. Only 7 points behind Montreal of the Atlantic Division. Impressive. Toronto continuing to hang around in the playoff hunt as well in the Eastern Conference. Good for them. Nice to see Babcock leading that team nicely in Toronto. Coach Babcock there, and of course, yeah, the young stars there in Toronto. Very, very exciting there, including the young phenom Andrews as well. So hoping for the best here for the Wild. I'm picking a 3-1 week. I mean, there's no way I could pick 4-0. I mean, that's too Rube-like. That's not my style. And if the Wild win them all, just great. I mean, I'll never complain about that. So that's how I'm standing with things there. Let's check up with the prospects for the Minnesota Wild, Iowa Wild, all that. But obviously prospects of our Minnesota Wild. Luke Kunin getting another goal last night for Wisconsin. He's been very strong. Obviously, he's going to be a guy who'll probably be on the Wild somehow, some way next year. He was the draft pick of 2016, or maybe 2 years from now. Who knows? I mean, he's only a sophomore. 17th goal of the season yesterday, 26 points for the University of Wisconsin. Very cool. Let's do the Dmitry Sokolov watch. Sudbury Wolves, yes, 7th round pick, 196 overall for the Minnesota Wild this year. Now he's at 34 goals on the season. And a multi-goal game this week. They only played 1 game since last week. That's been kind of, they've been all-star games of the AHL and OHL and the NHL, all kind of around the same time. But he's already equaled last season's 52 points. But this time in only 44 games versus 68. He had 2 goals and an assist in the 1 game, 34 goals on the season for Dmitry Sokolov. Again, I will reiterate, he needs to move up to some other level, be it college hockey of some sort, maybe play a year or 2 with the Gophers, or Colorado College, whatever. Olofsson played a year with Colorado College, something like that. But that would be smart. He needs to either move up there or maybe play for the, if it comes to it, play for the Quad City Mallards, something like that. Help out Sam Warning there as he can kind of continue to move up the ranks. Obviously, OHL, a significant drop-off from the AHL. He'd probably not be that good right out of the gate in the AHL. Seems to be a tough adjustment for college players, much less OHL players, Ontario Hockey League players. In that case, Jordan Greenway netting another assist last night for Boston University, a team that's been ranked number 1 in the country. They're number 3 at the moment. The Gophers, nice strong 5-1 victory over Penn State, looking to really take over the Big Ten here. Very exciting. But our buddy there, Jordan Greenway, definitely more of a playmaker than a goal scorer. Netting his 18th assist. Now he's at 25, only 1 point behind last season's total of 26 points on the season in 13 less games at this stage. Very cool. as we're hitting the stretch run for college hockey. Nice win for the Gophers last night. Again, Alex Tuch, been very strong. Let's look at Luis Belpedio real quick, see how he's doing for Miami University. He's at 15 points in 20 games at this point, adding another goal not too long ago, another assist, 15 points, as Miami University did not play last night. He's in his junior year, of course, in the same draft as Alex Tuch. It was the third round, 80th overall pick for the Wild in 2014. Let's look at the Iowa Wild and get excited because players are playing a little better, even though a lot of guys haven't been as, a lot of guys haven't been playing as much because of the All-Star games and such. Timo Pulkkinen, and this is the weirdest thing, there's another Timo Pulkkinen in college hockey. It's kind of funny, but Timo Pulkkinen of the Iowa Wild, who did not go to the All-Star game, let Alex Tuch go instead. 30 points on the season, leading the way by a wide margin. Alex Tuch with a couple of goals very recently. 22 points for Iowa. Maybe his final season there as he'll now join the Wild. We'll see. Mario Lucia continuing his tear up the ranks, adding more goals, assists along the way. 22 points in 38 games for Mario Lucia. He's third in the team, actually tied for second with Alex Tuch on the team in scoring. Really cool to see Mario Lucia moving up the ranks there. For the longest time, he was like 8th or 9th on the team in scoring, kind of where Sam Anas is now, as he's continued to move up. 16 points on the season in 39 games. Again, he faced injury earlier in the season. Nice to see that Gustav Olsson at 21 points on the year as well, as he'd pick up his play the past couple of weeks. 5 goals, 16 assists so far for the Iowa Wild. Alex Stalock leading the way, 15 wins, 10 losses, 2.47 goals against average, 3 shutouts, where McCulloch has 0 on the season in Iowa. The Iowa Wild continue to win. They had a 5-1 victory this week, and they'll be playing again tonight in the AHL. Very exciting to see how well they've been playing of late. They're on a winning streak. They're now 3 games above 500, which was unheard of just a year ago for the Iowa Wild. Very exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. As the prospects playing well down there, and the goaltending has improved dramatically after a poor start. Nice to see Iowa continuing to move up over there. They just might make the playoffs in the AHL. That'd be great, as they're hanging right around there. They're kind of about like St. Louis, Calgary right now for the AHL. Weird to see St. Louis only 4 games above 500 right now, but it is what it is. Kind of an awkward, strange situation. Poor goaltending. They're going to need a new goaltender of some sorts, some type of trade, because Jake Allen's not getting it done. And you know what? I was never that impressed with him, honestly. I always thought Elliott was the better goalie. But even Elliott was getting beat significantly by the Wild in the playoffs that year. But it is what it is. Or that was the 2015 playoffs. Very fun. I'm getting mixed up with 2014 when you had Colorado and eventually Chicago. Very good series. And the devastating Chicago series in 2015, which was just, it was a reality check that made us all sick and pissed off here in town. And, of course, all the players in the locker room as well were just shocked and dismayed with what took place. So it is what it is. That's pretty much about it. I want to thank everybody. Please join the Facebook page, facebook.com/Brave the Wild, facebook.com/Brave the Wild. Like and follow that. At Brave the Wild for Twitter. Follow that if you could. Would be greatly appreciated. There's a phone line, 209-736-7877, 209-736-7877. It is a voicemail. Do treat it as such. Mention you're calling in for Brave the Wild. It'd be, of course, greatly, greatly appreciated. Please also, there's multiple ways to get on hold. I gave you the number. There's the call now button for Brave the Wild on the Facebook page. You just click on the button and it goes right through Facebook Messenger to the same number. That's if you're international, or if you just want to just do a quick deal there, not even have to type it in. Very easy, free, all that, like you know. And then, of course, there's the audio submission route, which I highly welcome as well for international listeners, or anybody, quite frankly. It doesn't even matter. You don't have to be international. You could use your smart device, the free recording application on it. There's usually one right on there, or if you want a different one, you can download it for free, I'm sure, and then treat it the same way as a phone call. And, of course, all this information, the email address is paladinolive@yahoo.com, paladinolive@yahoo.com. All the information, including how to spell Paladino Live, will be in the show description and the phone number. So everything there, the Twitter, the Facebook account. Also, if you could, please write a positive review for Brave the Wild on iTunes or Stitcher. It would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you again so very much. in advance. Want to thank Vince Germano for retweeting the last show. Thank you very much. Out of Australia, more of a basketball fan, and also hockey podcasts. Hockey Podcast. It's at NHL Podcast. At NHL Podcast has been retweeting the show as well. Want to thank you very much. Not sure if it's kind of a bot Twitter, but hey, whatever it is, thank you very much for... I don't think it is. I'm guessing it's a real person out there, and I want to thank you very much if you happen to listen for retweeting the show. That might be how the Sharks show got in touch with me. And shout out to others out there who like a lot what I say, like Beth out there. Really appreciate you. If you happen to be a listener, and many others, Jeff W., who... retweets a lot of things what I say. Thank you again. God bless all of you. Hope you all have a nice week and the Wild continue their winning ways. Would be great to build some more cushion against those Chicago Blackhawks.